But if I am involved in a murder with you, you should tell me how we murdered the people. Because when somebody asks me later, like, hey, what happened? Did you murder some people? I want to be able to tell the people, like, no, but know the real story. Because, like, I'm implicated now, for sure, and I'm probably going to go to jail.
Right. I'm involved, so I need some sort of information.
Right. If I'm going to spin some bullshit to some people, you need to tell me something.
And she doesn't really give him an out or an alibi of any kind, but she does give him a little bit of information. And the information she gives him is this. The 4 men are called a quad. Essentially, they're assassins. And, you know, Richard kind of puts together that, well, assassins don't go after just anybody. So this has got to be a woman of some kind of stature. Important in some way. And then she says, which is big red flag for me, I think maybe the less people who know about me, the better.
Right. This doesn't lead to anybody... This doesn't lead to me thinking that you're an innocent party in this.
Right. It makes her sound guilty as hell, doesn't it?
Yeah. You got assassins after you. I'm not even going to ask you what the fuck you did. I'm just going to be like, oh, cool. I murdered your assassins. You want to go have some lunch?
Right. And this is something Richard does a lot in the stories. He starts running his fingers through his hair. And he does this when he's got some shit to think about. He's just got to work it out for a minute. And it's a tick that he has. And I think this is great because a lot of Good Kind's characters, they have these ticks. They have things that they do that a perfect character just wouldn't do. Richard's a good guy. He's a logical guy. He pretty much has most of things figured out. But here, he's got a real perplexity on his hands. Here's this woman who he believes was in danger, but he wanted to protect her. But he doesn't really know what he's protecting her from, other than 4 armed dudes who were ready to kill him, but also gave him a chance to walk. Like, this is getting more complex and more complex and more complex, and he can't figure any of it out without any more information from this lady. So he's stressing, and, like, he's not ripping his hair out, but he's, like, nervous ticking his fingers through his hair while he's rolling all of this around in his mind.
And as he is doing this, he realizes, oh shit, Michael has stuff going on today that I was supposed to be there for, and I don't want to miss his speech. Because, you know, after you contribute to the murder of 4 men, watching your brother give a speech is like top priority.
And that couldn't possibly reflect on your brother at all. Oh, by the way, my other brother's just murdering people, running through the woods like a psycho.
Right. It's so funny to me that he went out into the woods, he got himself all fucking sweaty, and he's like, oh no, we better get back to that. Like, you have the perfect excuse to, like, maybe miss an important event like this. I found this woman, she was in trouble, we killed some people because they were trying to kill us. Like, maybe you could miss it and not have it be that big of a deal.
Right.
He offers Kaylin his hand, and she's, like, real weird about it, too. But he just shrugs that off, too.
And I think at this point in the book, you can kind of chalk that up to she doesn't have any friends, and the only people we know that she has associated with are out to kill her. So she's not very trusting of people, and I guess you could understand that.
I guess we'll give it to her. He asks where all these guys came from, and she says they must have followed me through the boundary, and she doesn't really understand how they did it. And immediately Richard is, like, pissed off about it. Even though he doesn't normally get angry, we've been told this already, because no one's been through the boundary since before he was born, and we're assuming he's like late 20s, 30s.
Yeah, give or take. He's been told that the boundary is death. It's like forfeiting your soul, and that there's boundary wardens to keep you away from that thing, and it's been there since before he was born. And as far as he knows, it's going to be there forever. Things beyond the boundary are magic, and there's no magic here in Westland, and that's what the boundary's purpose is, it seems like. But you can't get through. It's a boundary. So she's
Right.
got to be lying to him, and that pisses him off.
Right. But I mean, she says she's from the Midlands, and he's immediately confused. But he doesn't stop talking to her because of it. He's just like, oh, okay.
He's just choosing to be blissfully ignorant a little bit.
Right. But that's where our chapter ends.
Yeah, that's all of chapter 2.
So we met Kaylin in this chapter.
Richard and Kaylin, power couple. Murderous couple.
Yeah. The murderers of Westland. And yeah, we encountered our first murders of the book. So that's fun.
Chapter 2. Chapter 2. We didn't get to 5, not even like a soft 10. No. Second chapter, 4 dudes dead.
Yeah, there's bodies littered all over the forest floor.
Just tossed from a cliff. All ripped open. Ugh.
And in the next chapter, it looks like we're going to get some food. So that'll be good.
Yeah, well, murdering people, you can work up a hunger.
Work up a hunger, yeah.
I hear. I don't have any personal experience, but, one would assume you murder, you eat.
When you're tripping balls, you need some sustenance.
Yeah.
So I think that's where we wrap it up.
Let us know what you guys thought about this chapter. I've always really, really enjoyed this because our 2 heroes finally meet up and kill a bunch of people. But this dynamic continues throughout the rest of the series, at least in part. It is a story about Richard and Kaylin.
Now, if you guys have any idea how the fuck those soldiers got in front of them, I would love to know.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, we're both very curious about how anybody thinks they might have done that. And if you have a theory that you think might be valid, be sure to send us an email at podcastatt@gmail.com.
Or you can find us on Facebook at podcastatt, or search all the things in the little search bar up there. And we are on Insta also at podcastatt if you're more into the Insta life.
Right. Maybe you got a drawing about how they did it. I don't know. But yeah, let us know, man. We'd love to hear what you guys think. On top of that, any questions or comments about this episode in general. Let us know anything you think about it. We'd love to hear it. And if we get some good answers, we're definitely going to read them on air. Again, I'd like to point out that this is about having a conversation with all of you. And we just can't wait to hear from you guys.
Absolutely. And we'll be here next week with Chapter 3.
That's right. So with that said, we'll see you guys real soon.
Bye.